Hey everyone, and welcome. So you've tinkered with AI, you've built a cool little app, but you've got that feeling that it could be so much more. Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to take that potential and forge it into power. We're going from a simple prototype to a full-blown professional-grade AI, all using the magic of LangChain. Let's get into it.
You know the story, right? You build your first chatbot. It's exciting, but after a couple of questions, you realize it has the memory of a goldfish. It doesn't know anything about your specific data, and it just feels kind of fragile. If that sounds familiar, don't worry. Honestly, we have all been there. That's the starting line. But we're not staying at the starting line. In this explainer, we are going to level up big time. We're going to inject your AI with the features that separate the weekend projects from the kind of production-ready applications that companies are desperate to build. It's time to build a powerhouse. All right, first things first, we have to cure our AI of its amnesia. See, by default, large language models are completely stateless. That's a fancy way of saying they have no idea what you said even 5 seconds ago, unless you explicitly tell them. It's our job to give them a memory. Luckily, LangChain has our back with a whole toolbox for this. You've got options, and it's all about trade-offs. You can use buffer memory, which remembers absolutely everything, but it gets expensive, because every word costs you tokens. Then there's summary memory, which is like a smart assistant that condenses the conversation to save you money. And for speed, you've got window memory, which just keeps track of the last few things you said. Choosing the right one is your first pro-level decision. And if you want to get really serious, you need your AI to remember users between conversations. I'm talking about remembering a user who comes back a week later. That's called a stateful session, and it's what creates a truly personalized experience. For that, you'll want to hook your app up to a database like Redis. That's how you build a real relationship with your user. Okay, so our AI can remember things now. Awesome. What's next? Well, what if your AI could have its own private library? What if it could read your company's documents, your PDFs, your private knowledge base? That, my friends, is Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. It's a total game changer. The RAG pipeline sounds complex, but it's actually super logical. Step 1, you load your documents. Step 2, you chop them up into smaller, digestible chunks. Step 3, you store these chunks in a special thing called a vector database. This is the magic part. It turns your text into numbers, so you can search by meaning, not just keywords. And finally, step 4, when a user asks something, you retrieve the most relevant chunks and feed them to the AI as context. Now, speaking of chopping up your text, I've got a number for you. 10 to 20%. Any guesses what that is? It's one of those tiny little details that can have a massive impact on how well your RAG system actually works. And there you have it. That's the secret sauce, chunk overlap. Think about it. If you just slice a document randomly, you might cut a really important idea right in half. By having your chunks overlap by about 10 to 20%, you make sure that the full context of an idea is always preserved. It's a small tweak that prevents big headaches. And here are a couple more pro tips to keep in your back pocket. Try to keep your chunks in that sweet spot of 500 to 1,500 characters. Use a technique called maximum marginal relevance, which is a fancy way of saying, find relevant info, but don't show me the same thing over and over. And whenever you can, split your text along natural breaks, like at the end of a paragraph. Your AI will thank you. Okay, deep breaths. Our AI has a memory. It has a custom library. It's smart. But is it tough? Level 3 is all about production. This is where we stop playing in the sandbox and get ready for the real world, where things break. Because let's be totally honest. In the real world, APIs go down, networks get flaky, things just fail. A prototype can crash and burn, and that's fine. But a production app, it needs to be a fortress. It needs to handle errors with grace and keep on running, no matter what. Resilience isn't a feature, it's a requirement. So you need to build in defenses. You're going to want things like automatic retries for those temporary glitches and fallback chains in case your main model provider is down. But the absolute golden rule of production is observability. You have to be able to see what's going on. And tools like Linksmith are absolutely indispensable here, letting you monitor costs, latency, and errors before your users ever see a problem. We've covered memory, knowledge, and reliability. You've come so far, and now it's time to face the final boss. We're going to move beyond building a single AI to assembling an entire team of AIs. Welcome to the incredible world of multi-agent systems.
So, what is a multi-agent system? Think of it like you're building a superhero team. Instead of one AI that's a jack of all trades, you create a team of specialists. You might have a research agent that's a genius at finding information, a coding agent that can write scripts, and a planning agent to coordinate it all. They work together, passing tasks back and forth to solve problems way too big for any single AI.
And that's the real magic: specialization. You break down a huge, messy problem, like plan a product launch, into smaller tasks. The research agent gathers market data, the writing agent drafts the copy, the analyst agent checks the numbers. Each one does what it does best. This is the absolute cutting edge, and it's how you can solve incredibly complex challenges. So let's just take a second. You've now journeyed all the way from a basic prototype to designing sophisticated teams of AI agents. Mastering these skills is what separates the beginners from the pros. But in a super competitive job market, how do you actually signal to people that you're a pro? Because here's the truth. Knowing all this stuff is fantastic, but being able to prove it is what gets you the job. It's the difference between saying I have skills on your resume and having the undeniable credentials to back it up. And that is precisely where DevCredence comes into the picture. It's a platform built from the ground up to help top-tier developers like you formally validate your expertise. This isn't about another online course. This is about earning a credential that speaks for itself across the entire tech industry. So why get certified? Simple. You validate your skills with tough, AI-proctored exams that actually mean something. You instantly stand out to the top employers who are actively looking for verified talent. And, most importantly, you unlock the door to your next big career move. So if you're ready to turn all this knowledge into a career-defining advantage, you know what to do. Head on over to devcredence.com and take that next step. Your skills are sharp, your code is clean, make your career a vibrant scene. DevCredence, prove it.